What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vibe Theory. I'm your girl, Beezy.
And I'm your girl, El Boogie.
All right, today in this episode, we are going to revisit the Michael Jackson biopic. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sorry. This time we are going to have spoilers because by this time you should have seen
Absolutely.
it.
Right. We've given you
So,
guys plenty of time.
plenty of time. But this time we're going to dive into theories of what the family may have intended with this movie. And so with that, yes, spoilers. So again, please sit back, relax, enjoy this discussion as we dive into the movie. And as you watch it, let us know your thoughts. It may be something that we discuss that may spark a conversation that you may have not even
Yes.
thought about. So please make sure that you chime in as you watch this episode. You know you can catch us on all facets of social media, and be sure to tune in on YouTube on Tuesday. So be sure to join us. So with that, Boogie, I know that
Yeah.
we've watched this movie when it first came out.
hmm
So what were your initial thoughts? I know we shared that in our first episode of
hmm
the Michael Jackson movie. So what were your thoughts about the Michael Jackson pick?
So my first initial thought about the movie was like, this is long overdue. It felt like this was something, they gave us something for us music heads and true Michael fans. So us to
Mm-hmm.
be able to appreciate the music, not necessarily the story, of Michael, but really just his humble beginnings and then how he kind of developed and grew over time to become this complete icon. So again, just being able to celebrate the music, all of the eras, from costumes to, thinking
Yeah.
back to where you were when you first heard Billie Jean, where you were when you
Yes.
first heard Off the Wall, just what to expect as a fan. So I really just
Yes.
want to say kudos to the producers and the cast members as we, were able to embark on this particular journey of Michael and just really just kind of fandom, just nerd out on the music and just really just say, hey, this guy was one of the greatest entertainers of all time. And so whether
Yes.
you are younger on the scope or whether you grew up listening to Michael, it
Yeah.
was just great to see. Great to see on the big
It
screen.
was. It was. I mean, the movie covered the spans of the 1960s with the
hmm
Jackson Five to
Right.
the Bad World Tour in the late 1980s. Now, seeing this movie, I mean, one, I'm going to say this. I was disappointed that when I went to see the movie, nobody dressed up. So that was my first disappointment. So, um, but overall, I will say it was a good job. Good job. I'm not
Yes.
gonna say great job and oh, you're gonna win an Oscar. Now, the only one I would say that may possibly win an Oscar is Coleman. That man, let
Okay.
me tell you,
Okay. Okay.
that man played Joseph. He was Joseph. Um,
Right.
but overall, I will say it's a good movie. Now,
Okay.
me personally.
hmm
Personally, I think the movie would have done better on television. The reason I
Really?
say that, yes. And the reason I say that is because I was not a fan of how much they skipped around. I think they left out so much.
Well, and again, but we talked about that before. Remember, I told you they had because of the fact
Yeah,
that folks didn't share their consent or give their consent on
yeah,
certain parts. So that's the reason why it does feel a little jagged. But I think with
yeah,
what they were able to salvage and to produce and put out for us was good enough to be in the box
yeah.
office. I feel like that, but I get what
Maybe.
you're talking about. I get what you're saying. I get
Maybe.
it, but then I was like, no, to build the momentum and again the
Hmm.
fandom of it all. I think
Yeah.
this is the reason why it needed to come out to the big screen.
And you're probably right because I mean, yeah, that camaraderie scene, clips of
Yeah.
people. dressing up. I mean, you're absolutely right, because I mean, there's rare to have movies like that where you have people dressing up, and
Right.
the last movie like that was Black Panther
Black
2.
Panther.
So I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, to your point, yes, having a movie like that to gravitate and bring people together, wanting to dress up and
Right.
all the different styles of Michael and things of that nature, yes. And again, for me, it was just, wanting to see those different layers. And to your point, there were a lot of people who did not sign off. And
Mm-hmm.
detrimental to the movie to me,
Very
not
much
having
so.
Janet. How do you not have Janet
Yeah.
in
I
any?
mean,
It's like you could, I get she didn't sign off. I get it.
right.
But dang it, have some little girl in there who doesn't talk. Just, I'm sorry.
Well, and
You
but
got
see
to.
again, a little girl that did talk.
that
But
didn't
it's her
talk.
likeness, it's beyond the fact that she is his sister. It's the likeness as well, so all of this is copyrighted. So again, for legal reasons, this is why they had to do what they had to do. So I
Look,
understand it. I get it. I really do get it. The fact that she did not sign on it. We didn't want any I mean, because if they had done something like that again, we probably wouldn't even be seeing this movie. So because
and
we
you're
don't
right.
know what kind of legal ramifications that would have caused.
And you're probably right.
Because
But they
it's about her
treated,
likeness.
this was like Judy Winslow going up the steps and never came back.
Judy Winslow.
That's how they treated Janet. Like,
That is
oh,
true.
wait, we ain't got a Janet? We ain't got Randy? I mean, come on, because these kids were born by this time.
This is true. Well, yeah, but again, it's like really when you think about it, though, Bridget, it could be and I guess this was probably what the perspective from where the director looked at it from. At the time
Mm-hmm.
that, of course, yes, they were in this world, of course, when they are going through as the Jacksons and they're being formulated. But how much
Mm-hmm.
did she really, truly contribute to that formation, only to get to a certain extent when we really start seeing appearances of Janet on
I
the
feel you.
Lawrence Welk show, Carol Burnett,
Yeah.
Sonny Bono, Cher and Sonny.
Yeah.
But it was only later.
I got a bias. Janet's my
I
girl.
know you got a
Janet's my
bias to Miss
girl. I need
Jackson.
to see baby Janet. I need to see baby Janet. I need to see baby Janet.
But baby Janet really didn't do a whole lot. So again,
I
it's
know
like,
she
is
did.
it really worth telling and interjecting that into the actual story?
And you're right. I mean, at the beginning, no. But later years, yes, because her and Michael were very close and they had that close relationship. So,
Right.
towards the late 70s and 80s, that's where their relationship was pivotal. And that's where you really needed to have her in there. So that's where I think that's where it falls off.
But see, this is where
That's where I do think it falls off.
but I kind of pull back on that because I think from the
Mm-hmm.
standpoint of the director, what he's looking at is the musical contribution. And at this point, 70s,
Mm-hmm.
80s, he's getting ready to, again, it's about Michael finding his
Mm-hmm.
style, developing his style. So
Mm-hmm.
Janet and whatever, again, I understand, I hear the conversation you're saying about the
Mm-hmm.
closeness. But did her closeness, or did it have any impact on
And
where he
see,
was going with the music?
mm-hmm. And
This,
see, and I get you. I get you, because here's the thing. Like, I don't know if, for example, were the scenes with LaToya, were they replacements because Janet didn't sign off? You see what I'm saying? So
I
that's
see it. I
where
see it. Trust me, I
that's
see
where I'm
it.
saying that's where it's the switch off. So
I
that's
see
where
it,
I'm kind
and
of
I get
having
it.
that question
I get it.
because of their closeness.
I
Because
get
I
it.
don't know how truly close LaToya and Michael were. I don't know how close they were. I know that they
True.
had a relationship, but I know that Michael and Janet were a lot closer. So that's where I'm kind of asking that question.
Right. I
Were the
understand.
scenes where you had Latoya and Michael having those brother and sister moments, were those replacements because Janet didn't sign off?
But even with that, it was so far between, and it was only like a
Far and
split
few.
second. And yeah, I was like, I don't even remember seeing
Mm-hmm.
that. So again, it was. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see where it contributed anything. So
Mm-hmm.
again, to answer your question, it could have been a filler.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And it could have been a filler, but again, I'm biased. I need to see Janet.
But Miss
I need
Jackson,
representation of Janet.
okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. So remember when Janet placed did her, I guess it was a unofficial biopic or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it on
Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yep.
Did she really talk about Michael being influential into his career? There was never really conversations of the intimacy as far as how close they were as we traveled through her story. It was only until we got to Scream. And even with that, she talks about the fact that they did them separately. So no one knew
You
that,
know.
that they both recorded their stuff separately.
Mm-hmm.
We thinking this
And
is together.
honestly, I think from that perspective, I think she focused on her because she honestly didn't even talk about the family. So
Exactly.
so that biopic, I think it was good. And to your point, you're absolutely right. So again, it's me being
I
biased.
know you
It's
being
me being
biased to Miss
biased.
Jackson,
But
but
but to your point, you're absolutely right. And so that's where I will say you're probably right. Um, and then to your point, the fact that they did not sign off on it, you do have to pivot.
yeah, we have to pivot.
So hey, it's kind of the question of how do you pivot, not
Absolutely.
having the rest of the family, and
Right.
then on top of that, not having people like Diana Ross, which was a main focal point as well. So
Exactly. But if she didn't sign off on it, you can't even mention her name.
yeah,
The
and
likeness.
so and so that makes me beg the question, what in the heck did they have that she did not sign off? That's my question.
Well, and then here's the thing, because I think they did actually record some of the scenes that included my Diana Ross, because I forget the young lady, the actress that was actually portraying her in the film. So there
Mm-hmm.
is raw footage floating around where we saw snippets, we saw excerpts.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
Yeah.
whatever, and we would probably never know the reason
We'll
why
never
she did
know.
not sign off on it or give it credence.
Mm-hmm.
But that's either here nor there. Now, if Diana comes out and do her story and decides to tell her side of the story, then all means I guess we will see that information then.
Yeah.
But I kind of love the way that the director pivot and
Yeah.
turn the focal point, not only just looking at those folks that impacted his life, but really just looking at it from what the core value of Michael really just defining him and really
Yeah.
coming into him, not necessarily looking at all the things on around him that was actually helping shape or mold him, but it's more or less looking at his genius. And I love the way they turn the lens back inward and not necessarily relying heavily on others that may have made an impact. Because I truly feel that they didn't go deeper into the Quincy Jones and his relationship. I felt like that was kind of a miss because they didn't go in as closely with his relationship with Quincy Jones as where I thought they literally was going to go deeper, taking a deeper dive. But that's just me.
And that leads into a perfect, um, leeway into what the family, or more so what Jermaine wanted to um, really showcase with this movie. Because there were some points in this movie that I don't know if they purposely wanted to showcase or
Mm-hmm.
if it was by accident. But
Right.
I honestly think that they shared that, and it's my belief, and it's been my belief for a very long time. And it was, you know, and I think this movie really um kind of added to my belief is that Michael was autistic, a high
Okay.
functioning autistic person. And it's not rare to have high functioning autistic, people. I mean, Einstein was autistic, Isaac
This is
Newton,
true.
autistic, Anthony Hopkins, he is autistic.
Yes, exactly.
So and there were things that really stood out, the not being able to stand still
Mm-hmm.
as he's performing, the movement, the hands, and not being able to keep his feet still. So those are triggers that really stood out for me to say Michael possibly was autistic, because I
Right.
really honestly think that Michael was a prodigy. I mean, to
Mm-hmm.
be that young with
Mm-hmm.
a voice that he had,
Right.
and to catch on to music like he did,
Yes.
there was
This is
something
no
about
training.
Michael that was rare.
Right.
Exactly. That there was no training. It just came naturally
Naturally.
to him. And
Exactly.
then to gravitate how he did, and to produce the music that came out of this man. I
Right.
mean, like I said, I don't know if they purposely wanted this side of Michael to come out, but honestly, I really, really think they showcased that Michael was autistic,
And
and
it's
and I think that just
interesting that you
really
say
add to
that.
it.
It's interesting
Yeah.
that you said that because we talked about this earlier on in the review,
Mm-hmm.
how um, this is new to me as far as I didn't even see that when you start thinking about things that you saw on the screen. I guess because now we can identify it. Maybe that was the reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can identify these things, now these things have a name to it. As
Yeah.
he was developing and coming along, of course we didn't see that. We didn't know what
Exactly.
to look for. We didn't know what the signs
Mm-hmm.
were. So maybe folks who were around that or who could
Mm-hmm.
identify it, even producers,
Mm-hmm.
show writers and things like that, maybe they saw a little hints of it, and that's what kind of stood out with them and kind of left that impression. So therefore, when we go back late years later to come and to write the story, we can, now that we have a name that we can put to it,
Yep. Yeah.
then
I mean,
so it might have been by
yeah.
accident. True indeed.
And maybe, and by no means am I a professional. I've
Right.
worked with children who have special needs, who were autistic. And each kid is different. I've worked with high functioning children. I've worked with low functioning children, and
Mm-hmm.
so. But what each of them possessed were little ticks, and so you catch on to those little ticks.
Right.
And in this movie, it was those ticks that really stood out. And when I watched the movie and seeing how his hands moved, and
Right.
just seeing those different things, I'm just like, I don't
Hmm.
know if they purposely did it, but I think Michael is autistic, and that's
Right.
really the thing that really stood out. And then just how he gravitated to the music, and how he wanted to learn about the music. I mean, that was his first love. You can
Exactly.
tell that. You
Exactly.
can
It
absolutely tell
embodied
that.
this man.
Exactly.
He ate, slept, breathed music.
Yes.
It was running through his veins. Honestly,
Yes.
music was his outlet. I think it
Yes.
was allowed for him to be able to fantasize, to be
Yes.
elsewhere. It took him to places where, again, if your current environment is not ideal,
Yep.
you can escape and go places in the music. I know for
Yeah.
myself. I mean, music can transcend. We've said that
Yes.
throughout. That's why we say it's vibe theory. It can take you
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Yes.
So I think that the music was really his escape. It was his escape, you know?
It was. It was. And I mean, and you can tell that. I mean, and that was another thing that they truly portrayed in this. Because, they didn't go heavy on it. And that's one thing I will say that I'm happy about. They did not go
Absolutely.
heavy on the abuse. They
Mm-hmm.
showcased it slightly, but they didn't go heavy. But you could tell that he had that fear of Joseph. And
Right.
that's where the music sheltered him, where he felt
Exactly.
at home. And they
Exactly.
showcase that in this movie. And so, again, to your point, that was his sanctuary. And
Hmm.
that was his sanctuary throughout his life, because
Absolutely.
there were so many things going on. I mean, the allegations of,
Hmm.
of child abuse, and then when he had his own children, and,
Right.
dangling over the balcony, which, I don't
Yeah,
even
we
know
won't
what that
even
was
talk about
about.
that. Yeah.
But, but but
Again.
but going into the allegations, that's one thing, you know, they didn't touch on in the first half of the movie. I don't know if they'll touch on it, in the second half, or even at all.
I
Um,
wouldn't, because he's been exonerated from that. So we
yeah,
shouldn't even be having this conversation. That's why I say
yeah,
I want to go back, because what you were just saying, they made it more about the music,
yeah.
not necessarily about the nuances that were going on around him.
Mm-hmm.
We are privy to that information. We all know that. We
Mm-hmm.
were here for it. But this really just gave us an opportunity to celebrate the man for the music that he was able to provide for us, the soundtrack of most of our lives, depending
Yeah.
on where you entered this world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to this day, I mean, he's still topping charts. He's still doing things
Yes.
beyond the grave. This man, Thriller,
Mm-hmm.
is making still accomplishment after accomplishment,
Yeah.
dominating the charts. So
Yeah.
again, the focus on the music, how he, the music was his refuge.
Mm-hmm.
It was his escape, and then it allowed him to create. So we
It, to
have to
create
look at that.
masterpieces. Yeah.
Exactly. He just
Yeah.
lost himself in the music. It's to the
Mm-hmm.
point where it almost felt like if music could consume him, he would have let it devour him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and honestly, if you think about it, I mean, it did, because I mean, heavy wears fame is a heavy crown.
Yes,
And it takes a toll on you. We forget that they're human as well.
exactly.
And it takes a toll. It takes a toll, and you can see that. And that's where I will say that, I do hope that they don't touch on the allegations as
Mm-hmm.
well. I
Definitely need to.
honestly do, because it gets to a point where it's draining.
Toxic.
It,
It
it's
does no good.
toxic.
It does no good to revisit
Exactly.
this.
Because here's my thing overall, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because, as a parent, first things first, I don't know you from Sam. So, no, I am not going to allow my child to
Right.
go to a stranger's house. I
Exactly.
don't care if
Who
you are
you are.
famous.
You could be the
I
Pope.
do not care. I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
not. That's
exactly.
just me. I don't care.
Exactly.
Now, second thing, you know, there are people out there who are just evil. There are. There are people who are money hungry,
There it
and
is. And
there
they're
it is.
always trying to, gaff
Take advantage of
somebody.
people.
Right. They're always
Mm-hmm.
trying to scam someone.
Yes, exactly. And I honestly, and I feel that that is what has happened. Now,
Of
Michael should have
course.
never, ever, 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 ever said, you know what? I want to invite these kids to my home and just have a great time. Michael should have never, ever, ever did that. I don't know whatever
Possessed him to
had
do
the
that.
idea, possessed them to
Right.
do it. And I wish that someone had the idea of looking to see what all of these people who had these allegations and tried to file these lawsuits, what they all had in common. What were their
Right. Because
homes
there is
like?
something. Exactly. There is something that links these all
There's
together.
something,
There's a pattern here.
exactly.
Right.
There's a pattern of what made him choose them.
Not
Because,
even what made them choose them. It could have been whatever they found, whatever his weak point was. You know how
and
some
that
people
could
can
be it
prey
too.
on weakness? and they know
Mm-hmm.
what may be his tender spot. And so
Yeah.
all of them developing and saying, oh, okay, let's hit him with that. So I don't know
Yeah.
whether it could have been maybe a child may have been sick. You've heard horror stories about cancer victims. They're battling some type of terminal illness.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been a sore spot for Michael. So they're
Yeah.
going to lean in on that. Or maybe,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but fake an illness.
And
Just so that they can
it's
get
been
close to
proven.
him.
Yeah.
People, like you said it earlier, people are evil.
Yeah.
And people are very conniving. And they will
Yeah.
do anything to get them in that room to be able to victimize someone else.
And you are absolutely right. Because honestly, Michael was searching for his own childhood. He didn't have a childhood.
Exactly. He
He
didn't.
never had one. He didn't have friends growing up. He only had his siblings. And he was the youngest. His brothers were a lot older than him. They wasn't trying to play with Michael. They trying to chase girls. That's what they were doing.
Absolutely. And
You
another
know,
thing that you said now kind of made me think about this. The fact that he didn't have a childhood, he could have set his whole mission because he knew how his childhood, he didn't have one, per se.
mm-hmm,
Like you said, couldn't play. That could have been a longing desire for him to
mm-hmm,
just to be a child, meaning to
mm-hmm.
play and have adventure and to explore. He probably
Yeah,
wanted to do that for other children, to grant them that. That's why he was so, concerned about children's well-beings,
yeah,
because he wanted a better world for them where they didn't have to worry about abuse, whether it's in the form of verbal, mental, physical.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it could have been
Yep,
his lifelong mission. Hey, I'm going to spread nothing but love and showcase these children that you are loved, and to shelter you and to nurture you.
yep,
So that could have been his whole ammo as to why he
yep.
opened up his home to these children.
Yeah, and why he created Neverland.
Right,
That was another thing that the movie truly, shared
right.
in this, was that the book Peter Pan was his sanctuary, his
That was the
safe place.
sanctuary. I'm telling you.
And he wanted to be a child
Yeah,
forever
exactly.
because that seemed to be his safe place. And
Right.
so that's what he wanted to do for others. But here's my other theory about Michael and why I honestly think that the allegations are false is because I honestly do believe with the relationship of what he has with music, I
Mm-hmm.
honestly do believe that Michael was asexual. I don't think he
Asexual. Mm-hmm.
was attracted to anyone. I honestly don't.
So do me a favor. Tell us in more depth. Let's talk about the asexual for those that don't know what that means.
So, asexual, you are not attracted to a man, you are not attracted to a woman, you are not attracted to them at all physically or sexually.
Right.
That is what an asexual person is. So, because of my looking at Michael, his behavior and how just looking at footage of how he's been around women, other women, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell he looks uncomfortable.
Comfortable. Right.
Even when he was married,
Right.
he looked uncomfortable. And so
Yes.
that's where I honestly think that Michael was asexual.
Mm-hmm.
It's on record that his children were all by a surrogate.
Mm-hmm.
None of these children were, of him
Mm-hmm.
having intercourse with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I honestly think that he was asexual.
And
The
that could
only thing
very
that
well
he
be.
ever,
Love
yeah,
was
yeah,
music.
the only thing, exactly. That's the only intimacy that he ever had was with music. And honestly, again, I am not a professional, but
Right.
just looking at, Michael, his mannerisms,
Mm-hmm.
and then just looking at this music and what they portrayed, it just honestly, for me, it just validated the beliefs that I've had for years about Michael.
Okay.
And honestly, that until you can show me anything differently,
Right.
that is
That's
what
what
I'm
you're
going
gonna
out
live
with.
on. You're gonna lay
That's
your
what I'm
sword
going
on
out
that.
with.
Okay. I agree. And again, by us having that conversation, it allowed me to then go back and look at it from that scope as well. And I want to just kind of piggyback on that. You can be a lover of just music. That was his whole being on stage.
Yes.
Ever since he got that first taste of it, it was like, wow, what is this? And can I get more of it?
Yep.
And he poured everything into that music.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a different person on stage.
Exactly.
I mean, off stage, you got this shy, quiet person, but on stage,
You got
got
all
this,
personalities.
all the personality, and someone that you're just like, wow, are these the same people?
People, right.
Because, he just felt at home on stage. And so, and it really shared that in this movie. And I mean, and to your point, as you said earlier, this movie projected the people who meant a lot to him. And one of the things that I truly, truly loved in this movie is it really put on a platform the relationship that he had with his mother.
Exactly.
And that's what the first movie didn't do.
Exactly.
And I love that it really showcased the relationship that he had with his mother and how it shaped him. Exactly. And I love that because Catherine doesn't get a lot of credit. That woman went through some hell.
She did. Exactly. Which in retrospect, she could have her own movie in itself that could look at things from a wider scope, really just fanning back and looking at everything from a relationship standpoint with each individual child too. Think about that and how they all made up themselves, and then you throw in her husband and trying to navigate that as well. On top of not only a famous singing group, but also famous individuals in Janet, in Michael.
Yeah.
A lot of complexities that this woman had to navigate the waters through. So she could probably tell us, again, if they ever decide to do a biopic of hers, again, could be, if not, on the same caliber of this Michael movie. I'm serious. Because there's a lot to unpack there with this young lady, with this woman, as far as what she saw, how hard it was navigate and raise these kids at a time where, look how many children were all in this one house.
Okay, and then on top of that, dealing with Joseph's infidelity. That's another part.
That's another part. So it's so many complexities that are going on through this woman that she had to endure. Woo! Yes. If she doesn't put out a book, I'm telling you, I hope that someone is capturing and documenting these stories that this woman has, and just her experiences in life, because they are truly something that is worth telling. And that's only if she decides to open up to everyone. But
I mean, she's a quiet woman,
she's
and
a very proud woman.
She is, and I mean, and but you know what? But kudos to her for just being strong, and there you go. And again, because I couldn't do it.
Exactly.
That is straight.
And what I would like to know, if anyone would ever, and I don't even know to this day who could actually interview this woman, but I would love to know the question. One question I would like to know from her is, what was going through your mind as you're looking at your babies on stage for the very first time, and then they move on and they start getting famous, like United States famous.
Yeah.
Let's don't say Gary, Indiana anymore. Now the stage is larger, and now they're worldwide.
Famous. Yes.
What was going through you? What was the thought in your mind? What? I did this. You know what I'm saying? Whew. That's a lot.
And and honestly, and I think Nia Long did a good job playing.
She did.
I think she did a good job. Honestly, I don't even think I had a problem with the casting at all. I love the actor that they had playing Quincy Jones. He really took the essence of Quincy Jones.
Yes, absolutely.
Um,
That's the young man that played
and
on Insecure.
yes, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then, and even Don King. I mean, I learned things that I had even no idea about. You
About the
know,
tickets, Bridget. I'm busy. The tickets. Come
yeah,
on. That was crazy. That whole thing, how they
that
mastermind that.
that I mean, the swindling, and Joseph demanding
Yeah,
Michael be a part of it. When
exactly.
Michael didn't want to be a part of it, like, I'm trying to do my own thing. Michael was trying to have his independence,
Exactly.
and so that's where I'm just like,
And then I
you
love
really
the
tried
fact
to
that they
push
were
this
able to
thing.
pull that out, though. Think about it. The way that they were able to pull that out. These are things that we didn't see.
Hmm.
We kind of had to navigate and kind of make up our own scenarios as for reasons why he came off tour with them, and we
Hmm.
made our own concessions as to what happened. But for them to
Yeah.
be able to really show this in hindsight and
Hmm.
really give us the tea on it, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Joseph
And,
was that
and
guy.
and yeah, he was, and honestly, that's one thing I will probably applaud them for, is really uh, showing how much of just a bad guy he was.
Right.
Not even as a father, but as a businessman.
But as a businessman, this is true.
As a
He was tough.
businessman.
He was tough, and but we got to give kudos to him though. He didn't know anything about this business. Remember,
Hmm.
they're just
He
doing this off
didn't.
the cuff. But
Yeah.
for what he was
Yeah.
able to do for them, you
Yeah.
gotta give him homage for that. You
Oh
gotta
yeah.
give him a bib up for that. And then the fact of the matter that the way that Michael did that, to say, hey, this is going to be the last tour, the backstage scene to me, where Coleman just looked at him and said, this is how you gonna do
Yes.
this? He couldn't say anything else because when he saw it then, because he's like, this is a man. It was almost like Coleman, like Joseph was staring at himself. Because if
Yep.
it was him with that talent, he would have did the same thing. And he recognized
Hmm.
that
Yep.
by looking at Michael. And he was
Yep.
like, okay,
And
I can't stop this man from doing what
yep.
he wants to do.
And
Because
that's
he
the other
has it.
part. He became a man.
That's right. In that
He
split
became a
second,
man
he became a man. And he knew he
because
couldn't bark up against him. So that was to
exactly.
me was like a nod to one alpha
Hmm.
to another alpha and saying,
Yep.
okay,
Yep. And one of
respect.
the other things that respect, exactly. But one of the other things that I truly loved and had no idea was Michael's bodyguard.
Exactly.
I
Complete.
mean,
Wow. Didn't know that
because
story at all, B.
didn't know it at all. And so, and this man, he was Michael's bodyguard up until he passed.
Right.
So, I mean, and at that point, I mean, up in years, I mean, that man ain't bodyguard nothing.
Nothing.
But he was Michael's, I mean, he was a father figure for Michael.
Exactly.
And I love how they brought that story out,
To light.
because
Exactly. Because we had no
because
clue.
we didn't, because one thing that I really loved is that Michael needed a win.
He did.
Michael needed somebody on his side that wasn't trying to use him.
Exactly.
And that was him.
Exactly.
And I love that.
But I feel like
He was
God
that
placed that
quiet
man in
shoulder.
his life.
There you go. There you go. And God places people in your life for a reason. And
Mm-hmm.
that bodyguard was in his life for a reason. Because
Absolutely.
the shoulder that he needed, Joseph was not it.
No. Exactly.
Joseph
And
was
God
not
knew
it.
that he was not going to be it. Ever.
Yeah, exactly. Joseph wasn't it. I mean, the fact that you had to call him Joseph, he wasn't it. The
Right.
bodyguard, the bodyguard was that shoulder for Michael, to be
For
able to
Michael.
go to
Hmm.
him, to be able to have conversations that Michael
Absolutely.
couldn't have with anybody else. And I love
Absolutely.
that they had that, especially when Michael shared with them that, I want to be able to have my own career. I want to
Hmm.
be able to go on my own, but Joseph will not allow me to.
Hmm.
And for him to give them the advice of, we'll get you a lawyer that
Right.
will help you to move on. And then
Right.
for Michael to have at least the strength to be able to go to a lawyer, mind
Right.
you,
The
not to be
wherewithal.
able to
Yeah. Exactly.
to,
So
to
again,
share
it's
it.
exactly, and then and I appreciate the bodyguard kind of telling him gracefully how to do this,
Yep.
respectfully. Not making it a nasty situation because
Yeah.
it could have went left.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't a nasty situation. He told him the formalities. Hey, get you a lawyer, have legal representation, because he
Mm-hmm.
knew that probably Joseph wasn't going to do anything crazy against when you got the law after you. You know what I mean? So you
Mm-hmm.
can still places him being in a certain confound. He can't do no crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? No shady stuff
Yeah.
because you're dealing with
Yeah.
lawyers now.
Yeah.
This is
Exactly.
beyond me
Exactly.
and you having a conversation and talking. We have left that station of being,
Yep. Yeah.
father and son to having a conversation about
Mm-hmm.
my future. We're moving
Yep.
past this. I'm moving like I am my own brand. You need to
Yep.
respect that. And we're going
Yep.
with or without you.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So now before we wrap up, we
Yeah,
know that there's a part two. What
yes,
do
we know
you
that.
hope they focus on in the second half of this biopic?
So the second half of me, I think what I would like to see more of is more reflection of him in the studio. Because again, where it stopped is bad. And then we're getting into bad, that tour itself. And then, of course, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
go into history,
Yep.
that album, and the tour that culminates. Because this is really when Michael is on this global trajectory as being the king of pop at this point.
Yeah.
So the second act, I hope that they will focus more or less on the production side of things, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that they teetered on it a little bit as far as with the production side of Thriller. But what I would like
Mm-hmm.
to see is behind the scenes how he is really honing in the time as far as the themes of the albums, how he's coming up with the songs, the sounds that he wanted, the sound that he wanted for himself for each project.
Yeah.
That's what I hope that they focus more or less on. Just how he comes up with and just recording in the booth, the producers, the amount of producers, the writers that he decided to work with, that kind of stuff. The more behind the scenes of developing the actual sound, because again,
Okay.
I think that's monumental to completing the story of his essence and love for music and what actually defined Michael as the king of pop.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Well, I'm hoping that they share a little bit more on his thought process of how he came up with Remember the Time. That's what I'm hoping that they
Yeah.
share in this one. And then I also want to see how Jafar pulls it off because he did a phenomenal job with Thriller. He put in the work. So, so you
Kudos
did
to
not
him.
disappoint.
Exactly, exactly. But another thing too. So again, this is coming up with "We Are the World," just interjecting all
Mm-hmm.
that. So I would like to know more about how he decided to come up with this whole concept of "We Are the World." You
Oh.
know, gathering those particular artists, getting them there.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? The behind the scenes
Yeah.
of it, working closely with studio. So that's what I'm saying. I want more studio. I want to see how they mesh together. Him and Quincy, formulating how the structuring of songs. Just what was the impact? Because again, this is something that they shared similar to James Brown and Get Up when they
Yep.
decided to do Say It Loud on Black and the Plow. By
Mm-hmm.
telling us that story of how they did that, what gave him the inkling to record that, the need to record Say It Loud, I'm Black and Proud. By them showing that in the movie, that was fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah. So I hope that they use that same catalyst so when they're showcasing We Are the World, because we need to see that backstory on that. I really do believe that. That was not a fluke. I'll put it like that. And I guess that's the reason why it hasn't happened again.
And it doesn't need to happen again, because that whole attempt that they did in whatever year that was, which I don't even want to remember it.
So I don't even remember, because you said it happened.
Exactly. That's how bad it was. We're going to say that for a whole totally different time.
I'm like, girl, you didn't tell me, because I didn't remember.
It was hot garbage on a stick. Let me tell you, it was bad.
Oh my goodness. Okay. We're gonna have to bring that into another episode. Oh my goodness.
It was hot garbage on a stick. We don't even want to bring it up. We don't even want to remember it. My eyes hurt from even seeing it. Whew, flashback.
Okay.
But if you like this conversation, please be sure, chime in, share with us what your thoughts were about the movie. Many of you chimed in about what your favorite songs are by Michael Jackson. So we want to know what your thoughts are about the movie. Let us know what you think about our theories, what we've shared about the movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think it should have been on the big screen? Are you tired of Michael Jackson movies? Share with us. You can catch us on YouTube, and you can catch us on all of the social media platforms. So with that, I'm your girl Beezy, and we got El Boogie. So again, join us. Keep your peace, and with that,
protect your faith.
There you go. See you next time. Hello.